I just flew in from Los Angeles, so I just got here to get the last few presentations, and it's been fascinating to listen to. I'm going to talk about the lighter side of science and technology, which is more about human capital. How do we grow and nurture this new generation workforce entering the world right now? This is one of my favorite topics in the world, and I'll tell you why. But because I only have a couple of minutes and I talk about this all over the world and spend hours and hours and we can never get enough time, I'm going to cram a lot of stuff into a couple quick minutes for you. But this, I believe, is one of the most important topics on the planet. We're hitting so many critical ones right now. But when we talk about the next generation workforce, we talk about the future of our planet as well, like we do with science and technology. I'm going to break it into three different pieces for us. One, why you should care, what you need to know, and what we can all do about it, why it matters to us. Number one, I love this topic because I've had the opportunity to travel to 50 countries, 2 million miles, and meet young people from every single background that I could possibly imagine. I haven't been everywhere, but it's been amazing to see how this topic impacts everyone around the world. The human capital development is such a personal thing for all of us because it affects all of us. It affects our quality of life. It affects the young people in our lives. It affects our colleagues. It affects the people who work for us. But it also affects their colleagues and their peers on the other side of the planet. They affect the people that we love and also the people that we fear most. When we look at the problems that we're having in the world, some of the worst problems like terrorism, so much of that happens because of the lack of human capital development. It happens because talent is being capitalized on by the wrong people. So when I think about the opportunities for young people in the world, I always think about it like a human capital continuum or an arc. You have an arc like this, and in the middle, you have the average young person who maybe isn't doing a lot of bad, isn't doing a lot of good, but they're just kind of there, trying to get through their life. And then if they start to do a few good things, they get good grades, they become a young leader, maybe they start a business, they start to go up this side of the continuum. On the other side, if they get into the wrong group of friends and they start to struggle and maybe dabble into drugs or little bits of crime, they start to become more and more vulnerable to the wrong influences, and they go this way. Terrorists are on this side. Young leaders and entrepreneurs are on this side. And so what we do is kind of watch what's happening here in this human capital side of the story. I think this is a really important thing for us to look at right now because of the scale of this issue. It has ramifications on everything from countries to economies to industries, home schools, and offices. It affects everything. And when we talk about the things that are most important to know about the next generation global workforce, first and foremost is the scale. There are 1.8 billion young people on the planet right now, and 1 billion of them are actively entering the workforce. That's huge. The average age of the world population is 27 years old, and by 2035, half of the world's workforce will be under 35. So this is not an issue of preparing for the future. This is about preparing for right now. The scope is massive. Also, the impact that they're making is just incredible because if you think about it, every single company, the most important thing for a company, the biggest line item is their talent. Big organizations around the world are struggling to engage young talent, to find them. Industries are trying to find the people that are going to come and take those industries over. And it's just become a massive issue. The other interesting thing is that because of the internet and because of technology now, online borders are becoming less and less significant. How often are we online and we find ourselves in a conversation with someone from the other side of the world? Well, they're doing the same thing to us now, and we're opening up our perspectives and seeing the world in places like Palestine, like Syria, like different parts in just incredible new ways. Just yesterday, I was on the phone with 3 different young people in different parts of the world. One was from New York, I believe. She had been a Fulbright scholar studying in Brazil, went to teach English and do salsa dancing and teach soccer and all different things. And she was saying to me, you know, Jen, I can't find what I want to do next. I'm so eager, I'm so young, I'm so ambitious, and I want to go explore the world. An hour later, I was on the phone with Faisal, who's from Pakistan. He's with Pakistani Special Forces studying cybersecurity, 31 years old. I want to travel, I want to go places, I want to do things, I want to get engaged. An hour later, I'm on with Frank in Nigeria. Frank is saying, please bring more resources to Nigeria. The kids in Lagos, they're hungry, they're ambitious, they want to do things. So you have this incredible population of young people everywhere that are so much more similar than I think people realize. And as they start to realize it, they're starting to gather together. Global youth organizations are, I think, one of the most extraordinary resources at our fingertips right now because they help young people look at the world in a much bigger perspective. They bring them together, they break down barriers, they show them how much opportunity really is out there. And another thing is, too, that this younger generation, as they come in, companies and structures are having to change, too, because their ideas about what work means is different. Their values are different. The way they want to engage in work is different. So you'll see a lot of people talking about virtual this and projects and freelancing, and a lot of young people not even wanting to get a full-time job because they want to pursue a lifestyle at the same time. I don't know if you've seen, but even very successful people in fields right now are starting to say, I'm going to work 3 months a year on and then 3 months off. I'm going to go sailing 6 months a year and then I'll work for 6 months. Those models, they sound crazy, but they're actually becoming more and more possible. People are going off and planning their startup in incubators in Bali. Right now, all across the planet, co-working spaces and entrepreneurial ecosystems are growing like wildfire. Just this past week, while we're here at the World Technology Summit, there are 500 entrepreneurs getting together in Hungary right now at the FIOS conference. In Cairo next week at the Rise Up Summit, there are all these young people working on science, innovation, technology, just like right here. They're getting together there as a hub of innovation in the Middle East. Junior Chamber International has 6,000 chapters around the world. They all got together in Japan just last week to talk about how young people can make an impact. So this connectivity is really extraordinary. And I think, especially as Americans, we have to look at the world in a much, much bigger perspective because this is what the young people are or need to be doing to be successful and competitive. Opportunity is truly everywhere in this world right now. One of the biggest misnomers about talent and talent development is that there are no opportunities. Some people say, as young people, there are no opportunities in the world. We all know that's not true. And a lot of companies say they can't find talent. And really what's happening here is a lack of proper distribution and connectivity. And that's why us all getting together, us streaming online, us connecting with people everywhere is critical beyond words. Because a lot of people are searching for that next, Steve Jobs, and they're looking in Africa. And these kids who are going into these unbelievable organizations it's critical that they're going into positive places, that we're all rallying the young people in our lives to go do good things in the world. They're taking on leadership positions at a very, very high rate. They're taking over countries, taking over governments, building companies, changing, obviously, even here, we're hearing about some amazing innovations and amazing thought. Industries are being completely disrupted by young people, and they're changing the way that things are. So some people say, there are no more jobs anymore. And I say, well, wait a minute, look at technology. Look at all the opportunities that are being created by all of this innovation. So when we look at the workforce, the young global workforce, with the billion coming in right now, we have to think about how do we train and develop the next group of young people to take over these technologies, these innovations that we're so passionate about. And maybe they're not in our backyard. Maybe they're across the world. I think this idea of legacy planning and engaging and supporting them is one of the most important things that we can do. So I'm so thrilled to be here. I'm so thrilled to hear about everything that you're all doing. And I hope that you continue to build these new sciences, these new technologies, these new innovations, and reach out globally. Because it's unbelievable how much duplication of efforts happening internationally, but also how many people are so hungry and so eager to engage, to learn, to explore, to be innovative. And you're all at the forefront of it right now, and I hope that you continue to do what you do and do it globally. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
In some ways, that concludes today's sessions because I'm counting the film as a time where it's hard to say, given the topic of the film, that we're going to relax, but that don't have to be as actively interactive and engaged as we've been all day. And I know it's been we've been asked a lot of you all to give of yourself, as all the speakers did give to you as they shared about their work. I just want to say very quickly, one topic about young people. The reason that I thought it was very important for Jennifer to speak